If only I had known that not every smiling face is a kind one. If only my mother had known that some people hide knives behind their smiles. My name is Isabella, and once, I had a simple life. It was just Mama and me, struggling, but happy. Until the night that changed everything. It rained that night like the sky itself was angry. The wind shook our small house. And then, a knock at the door. Soft. Weak. Almost like a cry for help. Mama opened it without thinking twice. And there she was, Caroline. Drenched from head to toe, shivering, suitcase in her hand, eyes red from crying. "Sophie, please. I have nowhere to go," she said in a broken voice. Mama hugged her tight and brought her inside. I stood by the door, cold air rushing around my legs, watching her. Something inside me tightened. I didn't know why. Maybe deep down, I already knew. Caroline fit into our lives like she had always belonged. She cleaned. She cooked. She laughed loudly. She prayed with us. The neighbors loved her. Even the pastor at church said she was a woman of pure heart. But when no one was looking, her face changed. The way she looked at me sometimes, like I was something she hated but couldn't touch yet. It was quick. So quick that I often wondered if I imagined it. I told myself not to be ungrateful. She was helping us, after all. I ignored the feeling. The church harvest festival came a few weeks later. It was the biggest event in our small town. Everyone was excited. Caroline insisted on helping me get ready. She picked out my blue dress, the one Mama saved for special occasions, and tied a red ribbon in my hair herself. "You look beautiful, Isabella," she said with a soft smile. "They won't be able to take their eyes off you tonight." At that moment, I believed she meant it kindly. I went to the festival feeling like a princess. The lights, the music, the smell of fresh bread and roasted meat in the air, it felt like magic. And then I saw him. A young man. Tall, handsome, smiling at me from across the hall. Our eyes met. My heart jumped. I smiled shyly. And then, pain. Sharp, burning pain across my face. It felt like my skin was tearing. Like my bones were shifting. I stumbled back. People around me gasped. Someone screamed. A woman rushed forward and gave me her mirror. When I looked, my heart stopped. My face was no longer mine. It was swollen, twisted. My mouth stuck out like an animal. My nose wide and flat. My skin rough and strange. I looked like a monkey. I dropped the mirror. It shattered on the ground. The pieces catching my broken reflection over and over. The boy who smiled at me. He turned and ran like he had seen the devil. People moved away from me as if I carried death. I stood alone. Ashamed. Terrified. Broken. Mama rushed to me, crying, wrapping me in her arms. Caroline came too. Crying even louder than Mama. "Oh no, my poor baby," she wept. "Something evil is after her." The pastor was called. Prayers were made. Everyone believed it was some spiritual attack. Nobody, not even for a second, thought that maybe the real evil was already living under our roof. And watching me suffer with a smile. As Mama held me tight and the prayers filled the air, I looked over her shoulder. And there, behind the tears and the shouting, stood Caroline, wiping her fake tears away. And smiling to herself, like someone who had finally started a plan. A plan that nobody could stop. The next morning, Mama couldn't stop crying. She boiled herbs. She prayed over me. She called the town's best nurse to come check my face. But nothing worked. The swelling stayed. The twisted mouth stayed. The monkey face stayed. Mama said, maybe it's a spiritual attack. Maybe it's something you ate. Everyone had an explanation. Everyone, except Caroline. She just sat in the corner, wiping her fake tears, whispering prayers under her breath. I watched her carefully. But each time she caught me staring, she smiled kindly, like a loving aunt. A smile so sweet, it made me doubt my own mind. Days passed. My face slowly healed. Returning, bit by bit, to normal. The swelling reduced. My lips shrunk back. My nose became my own again. I thought the nightmare was over. I was wrong. Very wrong. 2 weeks later, I was at the market with Mama and Caroline. The sun was hot. People were shouting prices. Children ran barefoot across the dusty ground. And then, I felt it. That warm feeling of someone's eyes on me. I turned. And saw a man smiling at me across the tomato stand. It was an innocent smile. Nothing deep. Just one of those friendly, admiring looks. But the moment his eyes touched mine. Pain. Searing, tearing pain. Right there. In broad daylight. Among dozens of people. I clutched my face and screamed. Caroline rushed forward first. She held me, pressing me to her chest, covering my face from the crowd. Oh God! Not again! Oh, someone pray, she shouted. But in the heat of her arms around me, I heard something. A whisper, meant only for me. You're not meant to be seen, little monkey. My heart nearly stopped. I froze in her arms. Not from the pain. But from the horror of realizing the truth. It was her. It had always been her. But how? How could a normal woman cause this? Was it some charm? Some curse? Or something even darker, something that didn't need herbs or spells? Something that came straight from a wicked, jealous heart? I didn't know. And that made it even more terrifying. That night, I sat in front of the mirror. Alone. Watching my swollen, deformed face in the dim light. Mama was in the kitchen, making pepper soup. Caroline was humming a church hymn as she folded clothes nearby. Everything looked normal. But nothing was normal anymore. I touched my face gently. Pain shot through my cheeks. I pulled my hand away. And saw tiny strands of hair growing where they shouldn't be. Thick, black, coarse hair. Just like a monkey's. Tears spilled from my eyes. I wanted to scream. I wanted to die. I turned to Caroline, my voice shaking. Auntie Caroline, what's happening to me? She looked up, her eyes wide with fake concern. Oh, my sweet child. She said, standing up and cupping my cheeks with her cold hands. Sometimes, some girls are just born unlucky. She smiled. A small, twisted smile only I could see. Then she kissed my forehead softly, like a mother would. And whispered into my ear. The more they look at you, the more you will suffer. The more they love you, the more they will hate you. That's your life now, Isabella. I froze. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But instead, I sat there. A prisoner in my own skin. With the devil sitting right beside me, wearing my mother's old friend's face. As I sat there, staring into the mirror, something else moved in the reflection behind me. Something that looked like Caroline. But her smile was no longer human. The night after that terrible moment at the market, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at my reflection in the mirror, my face, still swollen, my lips out of place. The mirror, it haunted me now. Every time I looked at it, I saw more than my own reflection. I saw her. Caroline. Her smile was no longer the soft, motherly smile I had once trusted. It had become something darker. More cruel. Like a serpent hiding in a woman's body. I closed my eyes. I tried to sleep, but the pain in my face wouldn't stop. And my mind kept spiraling. What was happening to me? What had Caroline really done to me? The next morning, Mama was already up, cooking breakfast, and Caroline was humming a hymn in the corner. I could hear her, and I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. Something about her presence made my skin crawl. I couldn't explain it. But it was there. Every time she spoke, I felt like I was losing control of myself. I needed answers. And I needed to find them alone. That afternoon, when Mama went to visit a neighbor, I decided to take a step I'd been too scared to take before. I went into Caroline's room. She was out shopping with Mama. I knew I had only a few hours before they came back. Her room was neat. Everything in its place. But as I walked in, something caught my eye. A small chest, tucked beneath the bed. It wasn't locked, but it was hidden. It looked like it had been there for years. Something told me that chest held the truth I was desperate to uncover. I kneeled down and opened it slowly. Inside, I found an old, dusty notebook. The pages were yellowed with age. I flipped it open. The first page read, "She is the key. I must have her. No one must know. Her face, her beauty, they all belong to me. I will make her suffer. And when she's finally broken, I will take it all." My heart raced. I closed the book quickly, my hands shaking. What was this? Who was Caroline talking about? Who was she referring to as her? It couldn't be me. Could it? I slammed the chest shut and backed away from it. My mind was spinning. I had to know more. I had to understand what was happening before it was too late. Later that night, I couldn't sleep again. I lay in bed, eyes wide open, my face still aching from the earlier pain. And then, I heard it. A soft, whispering voice. Not from inside my head, but from somewhere in the room. It was faint, like the wind, but it was there. "You can't escape." My heart skipped a beat. I froze. Was it Caroline? Or was I losing my mind? I turned around to look. But no one was there. Yet the voice came again, louder this time, more urgent. "You can't escape. She will take it all from you. You're not meant to be seen. Not meant to be loved." I jumped out of bed, my pulse racing. It was coming from the mirror. I ran to it, my breath coming in short gasps, and grabbed the sides of the frame, my fingers digging into the wood. And there, in the glass, I saw it. Caroline's face. But not the sweet, kind woman I had grown up with. Her face was twisted. Her eyes glowed with malice. And her smile, that smile. It was wide, too wide, like she was enjoying something cruel. She whispered through the mirror, her voice now clear. "You should never have looked. Now you belong to me. Your face, your beauty, your life, it's all mine now." I stepped back, my legs giving way beneath me. I fell to the floor, my mind reeling. The mirror, it wasn't just a reflection. It was a window into something darker. But what did she mean? What did she want from me? I had to know. The next day, I confronted Caroline. She was sitting in the living room, knitting, pretending like nothing was wrong. I walked up to her, my heart pounding in my chest. "Caroline." She looked up at me, her eyes soft, her smile warm. But I could see the coldness behind it. I could feel it. "Isabella, sweetheart, what's wrong?" I didn't answer her immediately. I couldn't. I was too scared. Instead, I pointed to the chest in her room. "What's inside?" Her smile faltered for a moment, just a split second. But then she smiled again, wide and bright. Nothing, darling. Just old memories. Things you don't need to worry about. But I saw the lie in her eyes. And that was when I knew. Caroline was the monster. But as I stood there, staring into her eyes, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I spun around, and for the briefest moment, I thought I saw myself, standing right behind me. Only, I wasn't smiling.